Hello everyone, Mr. Lipchick here, and our discussion for this segment of instruction will be on the nomination process in politics. Candidate selection process. There are 4 ways in which candidates for office have traditionally been elected. One is the caucus, private meeting of party leaders to select a candidate. 2, the nominating convention, official public meeting of a party to choose candidates. 3, primary election, that is an election in which party members choose a candidate to run in the general election. And 4, petition. A candidate files petitions signed by the required number of voters to get onto the ballot. Caucuses have generally fallen out of favor with the public. They were criticized for being undemocratic and mostly eliminated in the early 1900s. They were mostly replaced with nominating conventions. Nominating conventions begin at the county level. Candidates for county offices are selected, and delegates chosen for the state convention. The state convention selects candidates for state offices and selects delegates to the national convention. The most common method used today is a direct primary election. There are closed primaries in which only members of the political party may vote for the candidates. Most states use closed primaries. Pennsylvania has a closed primary. And there are open primaries in which all voters may vote in a party's primary, but only one primary. In most states, a candidate only needs a plurality and not a majority to win the election. That is, they get most of the votes, but not necessarily more than 50%. In some states, if a candidate, in some states, if no candidate receives a majority, a runoff primary is held. Candidates may use the petition method for getting on the ballot, but are at a disadvantage in the election. The candidate must get a certain number of signatures on the petition in order to be on the ballot. And his or her opponent may challenge the petition, that is, claim that some signatures are invalid. Ralph Nader was on the ballot in most states for the 2000 presidential election, but did not qualify for matching funds. He had an uphill fight. Some people believe that he drew votes away from Al Gore in Florida and caused Bush to win the election by getting Florida's electoral votes. Candidates who get on the ballot through a petition will not have money or workers from his or her political party. If the candidate poses a threat to the political party, to the party-endorsed candidate in the election, the party may buy them off with a promise of an important government job if they drop out of the race and endorse the party-backed candidate. In the Gore campaign, Nader refused to endorse him. The history of the nomination process. In the early 1800s, congressional leaders met in party caucuses and chose the candidates. In the election of 1824, Andrew Jackson made the caucus an issue. They believed that the caucus allowed John Quincy Adams to steal the election of 1824. The short-lived anti-Masonic party held the first national convention in 1831. Anti-Masons believed that Freemasons, a secret society, dominated American politics. Democrats and Republicans soon followed in having national conventions. The anti-Masonic party never caught on because it really, the issue was Freemasonry, and it really did not serve any other purpose. The nomination process has become more democratic, with parties ensuring that women, minorities, and young persons are included. Modern presidential primaries. Primaries vary widely according to state laws. 3 general facts about the primaries. 1. They use a delegate selection process, a presidential preference poll, or both. 2. Candidates either get all the convention delegates if they win, the winner-take-all system, or each candidate gets delegates based on the popular votes they receive. Democrats use proportional representation, while Republicans allow both systems. Delegates sent to the National Convention may be required to support a candidate, or they may not. In states that still use the caucus, voters indicate whom they would like for the presidential candidate, and a caucus meets and decides. Modern primaries have been criticized for being expensive, having poor turnouts, and focusing the campaigns on personalities rather than the issues. In 2012, the Democratic primary in Chicago only had a turnout of 15%. Because Chicago is largely Democratic, and people thought that they were certain that it would turn out a certain way, so they didn't bother to show up. The national committees carefully plan the National Convention and decide how many votes each state will have. Delegates, media, and nominees assemble at a chosen location. A keynote speech is made by an important party figure the evening of the first day. Delegates then approve the convention's standing committees. Frequently, there is little doubt or suspense regarding who will be the nominee. The Rules Committee at the convention governs the way in which the party runs the convention, proposes rules and an order of business for the convention. Delegates must approve of any proposed changes. The Credentials Committee approves the delegations from each state. If rival delegations claim to be the legitimate representatives from a state, this committee must choose. In 1964 and 1968, African Americans challenged Mississippi's all-white delegation. The committee responded by seating some of their delegates, and in 1968 replacing it with a rival integrated delegation. The Platform Committee writes the party's platform, or plank, which the state's party principles, beliefs, and positions are contained on important issues. So the party platform is determining in the kinds of voters that will be drawn to the candidates. The party tries to adopt a platform that will appeal to most of its members. Presidential nominations takes place after the committee reports. Usually the winner is a foregone conclusion. The candidate receiving the majority of votes becomes the party's nominee. The vice presidential nomination usually takes place on the last day of the convention. Usually the presidential nominee selects his or her running mate, and the convention automatically approves. The party will try to balance the ticket with somebody who has a different personal, political, or geographic background in order to maximize the appeal of the party ticket. After the nominees make their acceptance speeches, the convention adjourns. That concludes our discussion of the nomination process. Thank you for viewing, and I look forward to seeing you in the live lesson. Have a great day.